Some of the things you need to consider before using box color. Hey everyone, I'm Bekah, I'm a hairstylist, and I like to make YouTube videos bridging the gap between hair salon people and everyday people, okay? There's sometimes a disconnect, and I like to bring you content that bridges that gap. So here we are, and today we're talking about box color, okay? I am a hairstylist in the salon full time, and I make content on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. So if you haven't yet, please go ahead and go follow me on all of my different pages and hit the bell to wait, what? I'm going too fast. And make sure to subscribe and hit the bell for notifications for every time I post new videos, because you want to come hang out with me, okay? Okay. So box color gets a really bad rap, okay? And I am here to say, as a hairstylist, if you use box color to cover your grays or to have fun, I don't want to judge you for that, okay? Going to a salon, getting your hair color done is a very high-end, it's a luxury expense, okay? You don't need to get your hair done. You don't need to cover your grays. You don't need to be platinum blonde. All of those things are luxury expenses. So if you're somebody that doesn't like your gray hair, but you don't have the budget to go to a salon and box color is your option, you know what? I don't want to judge you for that, okay? Sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do, okay? In this video though, I want to share with you some of the things you need to consider before using box color. So let's get into it. First, let's talk about how box color works. So a lot of times in a Target or a Walmart or a grocery store, what have you, you see a whole row of different kinds of box colors, right? And a lot of times these box colors have developers. So with a color, you need a color, like the pigmented product, and you need a developer, okay? So normally in the salon, we use anywhere from 10 to 20 volume to cover up gray. In box color, you're gonna be using anywhere from 30 to 40 volume, which means, stick with me here, we're getting a little technical. When you use 20 volume, it only opens the cuticle like this, like whoop, we're gonna open it up and then we're gonna deposit that color in and whoop, close it down. Okay, so when you use a 40 volume developer, it's gonna blast open that cuticle, deposit that color and slam it shut. Your hair does not need that massive opening to deposit that color for your gray. So that's how box color works. And the reason they have those higher volume developers is because it needs to work for Susie, Sally, Jenny, Mary, Polly, all of you people, okay? It needs to work for a mass group of people. So it's developed and produced and made for a wide variety of hair types and hair textures. Why don't hairstylists like it? For the reasons I mentioned before, blasting open your cuticle, depositing that color, and shutting it down. That's one of the reasons why hairstylists don't like box color, because it actually opens your cuticle too much. And your hair doesn't need that. And over time, when you're opening your cuticle that much, it's gonna lead to dryness, brittleness, damage. It doesn't make for good, long-lasting, healthy hair in the long run. What are the long-term effects of using box color over and over and over and over and over and over again? So when you come into the salon, you're usually getting just your grays touch up, your regrowth, whatever's grown out between your last appointment and this appointment. And then sometimes we'll pull through a demi or semi-permanent color on your ends to like refresh it if it's gotten dull, especially in the summer, it fades out, what have you. So when you do box color, a lot of times at home, it's really hard to just cover up that section that's regrowth. So a lot of times what we see in the salon is people just cover everything from your roots to your ends every time you box color, and you actually don't need to do that. When you are putting box color on top of box color, you're constantly trying to open that cuticle. You're blasting it open with 40 volume every time you color, and over time your hair will get dried out, it'll get brittle. If you feel like, especially if you're like those darker pigmented colors, if you feel like your hair has just gotten really dry and brittle and it just doesn't do anything and it doesn't really curl, it doesn't like really do what it normally has done in the past, a lot of times we see that happening when someone layers box color on top of box color on top of box color. Your hair just gets dry and damaged and has like no elasticity left, and so it just doesn't want to do anything. Another reason why hairstylists don't like it is because it's really, really, really hard to get out of the hair. It's almost impossible to fully get box color out of your hair. If you're thinking about coloring your hair darker and like 6 months and summer rolls around, you want highlights put back in, a lot of times the reason why hairstylists don't like box color is because when you try and highlight through box color, it doesn't do anything. It stays like, even if you could get it to like a paler color, you're still looking at like a pale orange or like a pale red, because those pigments are so strong. When you blast open that cuticle and then that color goes really deep inside your hair shaft and then close it down, it's really hard to get those color pigments out of your hair. So a lot of times hairstylists won't even highlight over box colored hair, and if they do, they make 10 million caveats saying like, I'm not going to be able to get you as light as you want, because a lot of times the people that want to go back light from box coloring at home want these ashy tones, and that's next to impossible when it comes to getting box color out of your hair, because it always is. It's usually gonna be some form of red or orange still, because it's so hard to get box color out of your hair without completely melting off. I've seen it. So we don't want that. We don't want that. Because at a certain point, and I've seen it, it's happened to me, at a certain point you're trying to lift it with bleach, and it just won't budge. Like that strand, that pigment in that hair strand is just hanging on for dear life, and it just won't budge. And sometimes people will try and push it farther, and instead of going to like a pale yellow or a white, it actually will just come right off, because the hair can't take it. So it'll just come off. No hairstylist wants to do that, okay? And that's one of the reasons why hairstylists just don't like box color. It's really unpredictable and it's really difficult to get out of the hair, and a lot of times it will damage people's hair. And so as hairstylists, we don't want to do that. We don't want to cause someone's hair to break off or be damaged, and box color just doesn't help us out when it comes to maintaining healthy hair. If you're somebody that is wanting to get some sort of color, or you're trying to cover up your gray and you can't afford going to a salon, but you also don't want to use a box color, another option would be going to Sally's, okay? I've never done this and I don't shop at Sally's, but I know that they do have like developers and colors that you can buy separately instead of just buying the box color. And I'm sure the people at Sally's, I'm not sponsored by Sally's, but I could be, I don't know. I'm sure the people at Sally's will help you as much as they can, but what you're looking for, especially if you're covering gray, I would say, unless your gray is really resistant, you're gonna look for a demi-permanent color and 20 volume developer, or 13 volume. Sometimes that's an option when it comes to demi-permanent hair colors. If you're looking for a permanent, then you're gonna wanna do your color, your hair color, and then a 20 volume developer, especially if you have resistant gray. And then when you do it at home, which I, again, don't recommend, I'd rather you come see me in the salon. When you do your retouch, just do the parts that are grown out, like your fresh color. Get a friend to help you, get your sister, your friend, your husband, your boyfriend, whatever, to help you get the back, because really all you need to do is touch up the color that has grown out, and try as hard as you can not to overlap it too much, but just kind of blur it into that grown out color. I'll tell you a little story. Recently, I had a new guest come see me at the salon, and they have been box coloring their hair for about 10 years. And they really wanted like an ombre ashy blonde tone. Love it. Love that for them. However, I had to be really honest with her and tell her that this is something that we can work towards, like over the next year. That just gives a time frame as to how long it takes for hair to cut through that box color. And I even told her that it's not even guaranteed that until all that box color grows out that we would get to the color that you want, because box color just hangs on to warmth, which luckily I'm so grateful. This guest was very understanding. She understood that she knew there would be consequences to using box color at home, and we started her on a journey of like an ashy blonde. But you know, the first appointment was pretty much just like a ashy chocolate brown, nowhere near a light color blonde because we just can't get there. And I am not in the business of like hurting someone's hair to get them the color they want. I would rather just disappoint them in the consultation, which is also really hard for me, but I would rather do that than not set the expectation in the beginning. So if you need to use your box color and that's just what works for you, so be it. I'm not gonna judge you, but just know that if you wanna go blonde, if you wanna get the box color out, if your hair is dry and brittle, those might be some consequences to box coloring your hair at home. I still love you. Not gonna judge because, you know, sometimes it's just a financial necessity and I never wanna judge that in somebody, okay? Thanks so much for watching this video. If you have any questions, make sure to leave them. I try hard to get to all my comments. And if you haven't noticed yet, I'm wearing my new merch. If you follow me on TikTok or Instagram, you know I am obsessed with the royal family and I wanted like a fun, like royal family like merch that I could like wear for fun, like at the salon and whatnot. And I couldn't find one that I liked, so I just made my own. My husband was like, people don't know what It's Giving means. So if you don't know what it means, let me know in the comments because I'll explain it to you. It's giving Catherine merch. I got the crown, I got the hair because Catherine, the Princess of Wales, has bomb hair. Bomb hair. Okay. That's all. All right, that's it for me. Thanks so much for watching this video. See you guys in the next video. Bye. Mwah!